Hey Vaqueros, it's DJ Melody. You're listening to Melodies with Melody, and that was Jesus Freak Lighter by Blood Orange. You guys know them. I used to play their music like a lot last semester, and this song is actually one of their newer releases, and I really like it. Which is kind of rare because usually it takes me a while to like appreciate a song. It takes me like a couple listens to go through it. But before we get started, I just wanted to thank everyone for a super successful show last week. It was a really great way to kick off Melodies with Melodies, so I really appreciate it. Today's show is going to be real cool because yesterday on my radio show's Instagram account, which is Melodies with Melody, melodies.with.melody, if you're interested, by the way, I asked you guys what songs y'all would like to hear on today's show, and I didn't expect to get like a decent amount of answers, but I did. I got like 22 comments. I got a couple of DMs, which is amazing, you guys. Thank you so much for your input. But the bad news is that my show's only like 1 hour long, you guys. So that means I can only fit like 9, maybe 12 songs if I play a bunch of short ones. So if you don't hear your requests being played today, please do not get bummed out. There will be more opportunities like this one, I promise. In other news, I did not go thrifting this weekend, but I did want to appreciate some more vintage clothing stores that I go to frequently. First one being Christian's Vintage. He's got some real cool graphic tees, and he has like other vintage clothing, but I think his t-shirts are definitely the shining star of his business. And the second one is being One of One Vintage. It's mostly like streetwear if you're more into that, and they're actually opening up a cool store on Pecan in October, and I think y'all should definitely check out both of those. Trust me. Um, so this morning, I woke up, I brushed my teeth, I cut another inch off my bangs, and I was making coffee in one of my favorite mugs, which is a Steve-O mug. It brought back a memory from this summer that I totally forgot to mention on last week's show when I was talking about my summer break. So I did get to see Steve-O live, like at the McAllen Performing Arts Center. It was one of my boyfriend's gifts I gave to him for his birthday, and the whole situation was kind of nuts because we walked in like we didn't know what to expect because it's Steve-O. He's been doing real crazy stunts for like his whole life, so I was kind of half expecting him to like tase himself on stage or something. Um, but this performance was pretty cool. I think he was going for like stand up, but it didn't really feel that way. It was more of like, here's a story of what I did, and then a little short clip to go along with it, which is cool and all, but it's not really like the stand up comedy, which is what I think he was trying to do. But it was still really great. Also, some woman got kicked out for heckling, and that was pretty intense. It was kind of awkward because he was serious about it, you could tell. All right, guys, now as I promised, I'm going to play some songs that y'all requested on my Instagram page yesterday. So without further ado, here's a song requested by user Maya Rose 13. It's called A Night Like This by The Cure. Hey guys, welcome back from the break. It's DJ Melody, and you're listening to Melodies with Melody. And believe it or not, that was a song by Weezer called I Just Threw Out the Love of My Dreams. The first time I heard it, it kind of threw me for a loop because obviously that's not Rivers Cuomo singing, right? But it is Weezer. It's just sung by a girl named Rachel Hayden, which I tried to do some research on. I don't think she's like a part of any other bands or has her own like musical career, so that's pretty interesting. But yeah, this song is from their infamous album titled Pinkerton, which is supposedly based around an opera called Madame Butterfly, which I had no idea about prior to today. Sorry, I'm not caught up like on all the Weezer lore. However, I do know that this album is kind of a red flag because some of the songs radiate like incel energy. This song is definitely a gem though. It's one of my favorites. Anyway, while we're on the topic of controversial music, I just wanted to go over a breaking story, kind of heavy. Well, this one's actually like a couple of weeks old, even though it was super huge all over TikTok and a couple of other obscure media outlets. I still want to talk about it because it's pretty juicy drama. So let's talk about Adam Levine, frontman of Maroon 5, the man to blame for that one song that JCPenney and Ross just can't let go of. Um, Long story short, Adam Levine cheated on his pregnant supermodel wife. and wanted to name the new baby after the mistress. But short story long, this all came to light when some random quote unquote influencer came on TikTok with screenshots and proof of, her relationship with Adam Levine. And this lady claims that, she was new to LA, the LA air was getting to her head or whatever. She claims that she didn't know that Adam Levine was married, but after this came out, people absolutely ravaged through her page and all of her other social medias and found TikToks of her mocking Adam Levine's wife while the affair was going on. So that's pretty heartless and hardcore. Also, the way she went about making the TikTok, it sounded like she was just bragging about the whole ordeal. So, this whole situation is just a mess. And people were also saying that he's cheated before and that she's cheated before and that his wife's cheated before. And I don't know, it's really unfortunate for all parties involved. However, it's also pretty entertaining for us regular folk. So, on the topic of infidelity rumors, in the spirit of infidelity rumors, this next story is also kind of a doozy. I'm sure you guys know about the Try Guys. They were like a really prominent segment of the BuzzFeed YouTube channel until 2018 when they withdrew and they became their own YouTube channel separate from BuzzFeed. But I think BuzzFeed is where we all kind of know them from. So the Try Guys were basically just four grown men acting silly on camera, trying out foods, trying out athletic stuff, trying out funny costumes and challenges. It's in the name. The Try Guys, they try things and they're guys, so it's pretty self-explanatory. But one of the men named Ned, his whole personality surrounded about loving his wife and loving his children and loving his family. And until 2 days ago, people started to notice that they had cut Ned out of some of their recent videos. And then that's when pictures of Ned and the producer of their channel were dropped. And you could see them drinking, dancing, kissing, and everyone's hearts just broke in half because, we all had hope in them. They were so cute together. It was such a great family. We don't know what happened, but yeah, my heart goes out to his wife and his two children. They're not even listening, but it's there. So anyway, on a more lighthearted note, you guys commented what songs you want to hear on my show, and today I will deliver. User Moon's Transit and Jack Psycho requested Inward Jam by Kitty Craft. So here you guys go. Hope you're happy. Hey everyone, welcome back from the break. That was Zombie by the Cranberries. It's such a cool song, it's a classic, and Dolores' voice is super unique. If you guys like the sound of the Cranberries, you should definitely check out a band called The Sundays. They're also really cool, and she has a voice similar to hers, and I'd love to play a song by them in the nearby future, which I will talk about in a little bit. But in movie news, last night, I did watch the Munsters movie, the new Munsters. It's produced by Rob Zombie, and I believe it just got released on Netflix. And I also believe that this is his first PG movie that Rob Zombie has produced. You may know some of his work, like House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects, which are super horror, gory, murder, violence, whatever. And if you've seen those, you probably know that Rob Zombie and his movies have a pretty distinct look to them. So I was pretty excited to see this Munsters movie because it's PG, what's he going to do with that? And while I wasn't let down by the looks, the acting and the writing of the movie was kind of a mess, to be honest. So one of Mr. Zombie's staples is that he uses his wife as an actress in every movie that he produces, which is sweet and romantic, but I feel like her acting was kind of a heavy weight put down on the movie. And one thing I noticed is that she only had one tone for every sentence that she spoke, no matter the context, and her movements were super redundant and repetitive. You're an actor, spice it up. So as the movie was written kind of badly. I feel like the way that it was written was kind of a letdown. And also it just the way it ended felt like a really bad setup for a sequel. But aside from all the negatives, it was a pretty movie to look at. I loved the colors. I loved the character designs. They were pretty cool. And it is a lighthearted, shallow movie that kids would love, but just don't go into it expecting a lot, Something else that I also watched over the weekend was the new Dahmer show on Netflix. And it was super good. It was amazing. Evan Peters killed it, no pun intended, as Jeffrey Dahmer. He looks and sounds so much like him. But Ryan Murphy, he's the creator of the show, and one thing about Ryan Murphy is that he's gonna make Evan Peters play the villain almost every single time, and somehow it almost always works, especially in this show. I said almost because there was some flops in the American Horror Story series, but this show is definitely not a flop. I feel like they got everything on the dot. If you look at Jeff's apartment in the show compared to like the real pictures that the detectives took, it's so accurate. It's kind of scary. As well as the court hearings that took place, this show did a really good job at having the audience like empathize with the victims, especially the victims' families and members of, Jeffrey's community who were affected by the murders, like his neighbors. Um, Another thing that this show make sure you see like and feel the victims' pain and like their families' pain. Because sometimes I've noticed that like documentaries and shows made about like serial killers kind of try for the audience to like feel bad for the killer and like oh, they're just misunderstood, they didn't know any better. But this kind of results like in people getting the wrong idea, and sometimes they even try to like romanticize these killers and like they'd find them attractive and they like make edits of like the serial killers online and stuff. It's so disrespectful. I kind of hate when people do that. It makes me cringe. But on another note, we're going to keep on going with more requests I've gotten on the Melodies with Melody Instagram page. Coming up is a song requested by user Hey Alex V. It's called Speeding 72 by an artist called Mama. Here you go. Hey Becettos, this is DJ Melody, and that was A Loving Feeling by Mitski, requested by my dear friend Ariel, and you are now listening to Melodies with Melody. Well, you were listening to Melodies with Melody, but I wasn't talking. So, on last week's show, I talked a little bit about the weather, and last Thursday was the first day of fall and whatever. So, I might have jinxed us when I said that I doubt we were going to see any autumn weather anytime soon, because last night it actually dropped down all the way to the 60s, which was a pretty big deal. And this morning it was still kind of chilly. I was pretty surprised. This weather is like my favorite. It's like the kind where you could take a walk without sweat dripping down your forehead or having to wear like 3 layers of clothing. So, yeah, no rain today. And there should be wind. I don't know. I really don't see any, but weather app said yes. And perfect weather for parking at the baseball stadium and then walking all the way to the library. So here's an update on Be Real that I also talked about last week. So the news is TikTok totally stole Be Real's gimmick, the whole like you can only post once a day and it like catches you off guard. So last night I was just scrolling through my For You page and I got a notification about this feature on TikTok, and I had such a hard time like understanding what it's supposed to be. I thought it would like ask you to record a TikTok wherever you are when the notification goes off, but no, it's just a picture. Like you just take a picture and it's exactly like Be Real, which makes no sense at all because TikTok is like a video app, and it's not a picture app. And I smell a lawsuit cooking up, but honestly, I really don't think anyone's going to be using that feature. I posted one last night just to see like if other people would, and nobody did. And that's cuz I follow like a bunch of people and I have like half of my contacts on there. So I thought someone would at least like pull through and post one. Unless I'm the only one who has like the update so far, because sometimes that happens to me like with Instagram. I'm not sure. But in other social media news, Instagram updated again. So it's supposedly like people can, or you can see who views your videos. I'm guessing that means like reels and stories. Like you could see who views them and how many times they viewed them. And I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like information that only you know, kind of like when you have a business account on Instagram, or if it's just like public knowledge, like you can see who looked at this video and how many times. Because I don't know, but for some reason I never get Instagram updates on time. Like I always get all the updates super late and it's kind of annoying. But sometimes they sound like stupid, so I'm kind of glad that I don't get those updates when everyone else does. So to wrap up this show, I just want to talk about what I have in mind for next week. Um, so next week, it's going to be the first show that I have for October. And as you all know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So, in honor of breast cancer awareness, I would love to have a show dedicated just for female artists in the indie alternative world because there's so many powerful women in the scene that deserve to be recognized. You know, I feel like breast cancer awareness is something that we've all been celebrating ever since like we were kids, like in elementary school. I remember we would have like ribbons to wear and stuff, and they would make announcements. And it's really nice because I know a lot of women here in the valley are like affected by it, and I personally know some survivors. So I think it would be really nice just to, honor the women, honor women as a whole gender and the survivors. So yeah, next week tune in for some girl rock. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be awesome. I already have some ideas. I might also post another like request post where you guys can like submit whichever songs that you want, but I'll make it just for women songs, like songs that women have sung. But yeah, that's all I really have for this week. So thank you for everyone who listened today, and make sure you tune in to Melodies with Melody next Wednesday at 3 p.m. only on Vaquero Radio.